Marvel fans, we just got new reveals about Kang the Conqueror and how Marvel is adapting the character from the comic books to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The writer of Avengers 5, the Kang Dynasty, and Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania recently spoke about Kang, and he gave us fans a lot to think about and decipher. This man even said that Endgame's time travel bummed him out. So first up in this video, we will go over the new comments made by the Avengers 5 writer, and then we will see how this new information relates to long-standing rumors about Kang and what he's going to be doing in Avengers Secret Wars. So this is all coming from SFX magazine when they did sit down and talk to Jeff Loveness, who again is the writer for Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. He's also writing the next Avengers movie, Avengers: The Kang Dynasty. I think it's also worth noting here that he does have a relationship with Michael Waldron, as both of them used to work on Rick and Morty together, and Michael Waldron is of course the guy that wrote Loki season 1. He wrote Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and he is writing Avengers Secret Wars. So the first comments made by Loveness were in response to a question on how deeply he has dove into Marvel Comics as far as his research for Kang the Conqueror. And Loveness says here, too deep. I got way into Ramatut and Scarlet Centurion stuff, trying to read my way through that, and the Celestial Madonna with Mantis. That's the joy of the character. He is just this infinite snake eating infinite tails, a man literally at war with himself. And frankly, that bit is so cool. Number one, because of course we love knowing that the writers and the people handling the Marvel Cinematic Universe are respecting the comics and have an appreciation for the comics, but it's also really interesting that he drops Ramatut and the Scarlet Centurion. I will come back to this point in a moment when we get into the established rumors for Kang the Conqueror and how some of this information will tie into that. And he says here, I haven't seen a time-traveling character done with such intricacy and exploration when speaking about Kang. I'm a little bummed because Endgame did so much time travel, so you almost need to broaden him out a little bit. Maybe broaden out into the multiverse a little bit more. The dimensionality of the character, the limitless freedom he has while also being completely uprooted from his time and himself. Is it just going to all fall apart again because another version of him can destroy it all as well? What's the purpose of building Rome if you are going to burn it down the next day? Because they want to have their own Rome? He continues here saying, I certainly took a ton from the comics, but the joy of these movies is you also get to put some of yourself into it. You get to put a completely new spin, because if you just do 100% comic book adaptation, people know all the tricks and what to expect. You have to use that as a foundation and then throw a curveball. I've tried to lean into him being a more interesting character than people expect, hopefully. So really interesting comments here. Again, it's crazy that he said that about Endgame, because myself as a fan, especially as someone who really likes Kang in the comics, I too am a little bit bummed out that Endgame did so much time traveling stuff. And frankly, the constraints put on time travel within the laws of the Marvel Cinematic Universe limit some of the fun stuff that Kang does in the comics. But I think this serves as an explanation for us as fans as to why Marvel wanted to go the route of the multiverse with Kang. It does broaden him out. It does bring this dimensionality of character, because he's kind of limitless in the things that he can do, but he's also completely uprooted from any like fundamental character building block aspects, like him being completely isolated from any particular timeline, or at least some of the variants of Kang being completely isolated from their timeline. It does mean that there's a certain helplessness to Kang himself. I love the idea of building Rome just to burn it down in the next day, and this seems to be a real character motivation for Kang. Every version of Kang that we have seen so far, which at this moment in time is just He Who Remains from Loki and Kang the Conqueror, whom we have only seen in trailers leading up to Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, which comes out very, very soon. They have all mentioned other versions of themselves. And this idea that he's literally at war with himself and that another version of himself might just come in and destroy what this particular version has been building is a really interesting concept. This idea of a guy who's just an endless mindless snake eating the heads of other snakes. It's like a Ouroboros. I also really like Loveness's comments about taking stuff from the comics, but putting your own spin on it. This has really been the magic formula for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And this is something we talk about as fans all the freaking time. Like, the Civil War in the MCU is almost nothing like the Civil War in Marvel Comics. Even the Thanos event borrows from separate Marvel comic stories and is not like the original Infinity Gauntlet. And as a big Marvel fan, one of my favorite things to do is to take what has come in the comics and then sort of speculate on what changes and how that might look when it's finally adapted into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Because I agree, if it's just a one-to-one adaptation, you already know what's going to happen and you know the principles behind the sort of moving parts of the story. But there's always, of course, a fear anytime a writer or a creative says that they're going away from the comic book adaptation. And again, one of the biggest changes to Kang is that in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, he is more of a multiverse character than he is even a time character. And I think now's a really great time to sort of remind everybody and double down on this idea that Kang himself is going to be the big bad of Secret Wars. I know many of you already know that, but there were a lot of fans out there still holding out hope for like Doctor Doom, maybe even the Beyonder or the Beyonders kind of coming in and sidestepping Kang and being the real big bad of Avengers Secret Wars. But according to all of the rumors that we have heard, that is not going to be the case. And in fact, it is possible that the Kang the Conqueror variant we meet in Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania will actually get some of the powers of the Beyonder. That's a big rumor out there that was started by Insider and Scooper. My time to shine. Hello. And as I look at what Jeff Loveness is saying in these comments, that feels to me exactly like what he is talking about. It's a comic book adaptation, but it's not 100%. It's a curveball. And so this multiversal conquering Kang becoming the Beyonder and having this greater purpose is a real twist on the character and something that I do think could be done in a very compelling way. But now let's go back to the very first comments made in this video, the ones about Ramatut and the Scarlet Centurion stuff. Now, this is fascinating to me because one of the newest rumors we've just gotten about Loki Season 2 via insider Daniel RPK is that you will see various variants of Kang the Conqueror in that show. One of which we just did a big video on is something like Victor Timely. It will be a variant of Kang that's an investor in early America, and this person or this variant of Kang is trying to make purchases that will affect the future. And it kind of seems like the setup for Loki Season 2 may be Loki going around to stop these various Kang variants from doing stuff to affect the timeline. And with Loveness saying that he went deep on the Ramatut and the Scarlet Centurion stuff, it makes me believe that these might be two variants we see in Loki Season 2. And that would be really cool because I would love for the sort of scope of Loki Season 2 to open up and possibly even go back to ancient Egypt. And wouldn't it be wild if you like see Khonshu or Moon Knight or something like that? And Scarlet Centurion, also a fascinating character. I do wonder, will Scarlet Centurion show up in one of these coming MCU projects and be a big bad? Or will he just be like relegated to one of the Kang variants that are defeated in Loki Season 2? And it begs the question, just how many variants of Kang will we actually end up seeing in the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Even Jonathan Majors has commented that there are so many different variants of Kang, and I believe this is one of the appealing things from Jonathan Majors' perspective as to playing this role, because he really gets to play a ton of different roles, all with, you know, unique twists, unique motivations, and all being at odds with each other. And Marvel Studios just released a new featurette out there for Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, and they seem really excited that this is the movie that is going to kick off Phase 5 for Marvel and really set us on the road to Avengers Secret Wars. And these comments here by Jeff Loveness are just so damn cool because it speaks to this excitement and also just the depth of the process that is going on to create make this big story that's not just going to be for the next Ant-Man movie, but will tie in heavily to the next Avengers movie. I mean, that's why we're all so excited about meeting Kang and learning more about him in Quantumania, and the energy and sort of this excitement that's coming from these comments by the writer of the Kang Dynasty and Quantumania. It's palpable and it's so damn cool. It shows there's something really interesting and really cool going on behind the scenes, and that we will get to experience as fans leading to Avengers Secret Wars. Smash a like on this video if you enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe to this channel and our live streaming channel. We give away dope nerdy things to lucky subscribers each and every month. And if you want to watch more, why not check out this video I just did about the Loki Season 2 leaks and rumors.